Welcome to Oh, that's not even the. I messed up the proper intro. Love it.
One way. It's late on a Saturday.
Yeah, too late. The adult beverages are poured, the kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 3-year-old. No, I don't. I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I've got, a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Thanks for pretending. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about their ages because the one is actually going to be turning 5 in a few months. And then that kind of led me to the thought of like, oh, geez, then the other one's going to be 3. And it's just those like number jumps where it's like, oof, a 3 and a 5-year-old. Wild.
Getting up there.
It's been 5 years. My goodness.
Those are rookie numbers. Come on. Pump those up.
You gotta up those up. So I want to start with a Beat Saber story right at the top.
Perfect.
Which has really been, the kids go to sleep and it's such a great game. It's one of the reasons why I love VR, because it's a real enjoyable, encapsulated experience. It's kind of the cutting edge without having to own a top-of-the-line PC like and get the latest thing. And you get into your world, have a really wild experience, and you get out.
Right.
You know, because I don't just have that time, so that's why, I even purchased Beat Saber, if you remember from last episode, where it was just, you have the darn thing, you're not playing any games, get something that is going to be amazing and, defined for time.
Right.
So I get a notification at one point from my phone saying, hey, congratulations on the swim recently. It looks like it was a really great swim session. Congratulations.
Oh.
And I'm staring at it, that's like, huh. So that came from my Fitbit.
Okay.
And what had happened is that I suppose I was flailing my arms in such a manner that for 15 minutes straight, that Fitbit was like, so you're swimming. So I got this. So my app was like, hey, congrats on the great swim. I'm like, yeah. Woo. I wasn't just waving at magical blocks with lightsabers, totally swimming like a normal person.
That's amazing.
Because it has like heart rate monitor and everything on the recent version of the Fitbit I have. So you can just kind of see those spikes and you see that like energy. And every time it's like, oh, congratulations, you got your exercise in for the day. It's like,
yeah, I guess you did, right?
Sort of, yeah. I suppose I'm Beat Sabering so hard that is considered swimming. So that total shock was, it's one of those moments where you're staring at something and like, what are you talking about? What's swimming? Oh, I'm an idiot when I swing around in Beat Saber. Okay.
Yeah, you know. That's good though. I was actually thinking about that the other day. If in any fitness apps or something that you had running, Beat Saber, I've actually seen some weight loss stories with Beat Saber as well, because it is a workout. Like it's no slouch waving your hands around like that. So
yeah, there was some really interesting. I'm going to try to pull up some visuals because that sounds really kind of fascinating, actually. Hold on. Because I'd seen one story where a guy, he posted an article, and it was a fairly, I'm going to call it touching, might be a little bit too strong a word, but it was a fairly kind message about how it really improved his life. It's just he wasn't really active during the day. Yeah. He didn't really get much movement and was terribly out of shape. And it's not like Beat Saber's a gym. But at the same time, he was up, he was moving, his posture improved, he lost some weight.
Right.
There's something about that coordination that was kind of cool. I'll say for some of the motions, especially with some of the levels when you really have to lean left and right. Like
yes.
You're activating your core, you're getting into it.
That's right. Well, and have you tried the 180 stuff? Like you physically have to like turn your view because the whole track.
I tried 90. Is there 180 on?
Oh, maybe it's only 90 then. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, it was fine. I didn't like it as much. There's something about it coming forward and it feels a bit more rhythmic. It feels like it's more akin to Guitar Hero in a sense that it's kind of like streaming towards it's a bit more controlled. It's pretty cool though, because something's coming from the left and you got to turn over to the right and you're just like jumping around. Man loses 30 pounds playing Beat Saber and more for 6 months.
Well, see, like anything to get your cardio up when you otherwise wouldn't have. Make it fun.
Yeah, so this will be. So it goes to Reddit. So this is from the website uploadvr.com. Beat Saber weight loss story. Let's see, 6-month fitness jury. He's played Rise or Creed, Rise of Glory, Knockout League. Now that I can attest to. The boxing one, that is really. I had a lot of sweat on that one.
Yeah.
So it's form is everything. Beat Saber, if you purely play as a video game, it's not really valuable exercise. It's flipping your wrists. So you have to commit to a style of play that makes the game more physically demanding. So that's an interesting one. Yeah, because if you're just like...
Well, there's modes in Beat Saber too that track the motion. Like you can flip on one of the challenges. You have to really wave your hands high and low to get it to work.
Oh, yeah, interesting. So that one was definitely kind of cool. That was interesting to see. But apparently, I apparently beat Saber so hard, I tricked my Fitbit into thinking I swim.
It's perfect.
Yeah. Now there's good reason for me not to have the energy to do so because
we're dads. Come on.
A, because of dads, but B, like my dadhood it's gone to a bad place right now, man. Because the little one has learned how to escape his crib.
Oh, the Indiana Jones baby.
And it was perfect because one night we're just kind of getting prepared for bed and we just hear a bit of like a thump.
Oh,
and then a rattling of like a door. we're kind of like looking at each other like, what's this? And then we go outside and he's just standing in front of his door looking at it. And I'm looking at him and he's looking at me. And it's just this like doom just like slides in, just comes in over nothing, right? Where it's just the glory day is over. Because one of the ways we got him to sleep, like both our kids are difficult sleepers. Right. Today's episode was, an hour late because I couldn't get my kids to sleep. And literally a couple times he escaped tonight. He just kept escaping. But him getting out of that, so usually what you could do is after you've spent a lot of time with him and you're rocking him and he's truly tired, it's like you put him in, let him cry himself out. Within 5 minutes, he's down.
Right.
But it's dead now. It's gone. He just gets out.
No, it's not.
And I can't reason with him. So like the only thing to do is to rock him until he's truly done and asleep, and then transfer him and pray. That's I got nothing.
No, and that doesn't really stop because even my 9 and 6-year-old, we've on purpose kept their doors creaky so that we can listen for the creaky sounds of when they open their door and escaping.
Oh, I just picture you like going up to the door, just like wrestling with it to try to bend it off its rattle.
No, yeah. So you got to set some traps, maybe some tinfoil outside the door, for the cat.
Well, now we're kind of worried because it's just like he's Arab, like it's fairly good physically because he comes up and over ninja style, but still, first thing in the morning, I'm worried he's a bit groggy and he's gonna like fall off and hit himself. So it's almost like we need to truly give up and just get him a bed. Get him a full bed because I don't want him to be dropping out of the crib.
No,
man, I can't describe it. Just seeing him in that hallway, just looking at me. And it's just this like
just knowing your mind's racing a mile a minute, just be like, oh no,
oh god,
it was so good, God. It was going so well.
And he'll get up in such a commotion. He'll turn the one morning, and I'm not kidding here. He got out of bed.
Okay,
and this is the 2-year-old. Okay.
Yep.
He got out of bed. He turned on the light. He put on a shirt.
Oh, good.
And so he took off his pajamas.
Yeah.
And he put on a shirt. Like he couldn't get the whole arms and everything.
No, but
it was over. And then he held pants, and then he came to our bedroom, and woke us up, and it's just like, what is this?
Yeah.
What is this?
You got a little human now instead of just this thing you just put down.
And to be clear, that was at 5:30 in the morning.
Whoa.
Just in case anyone's like, that sounds pretty great. Yeah. No. That was at 5.
That's early.
And that's after we probably didn't get him down until 10. So.
Oh my God.
It is an interesting house right now. So tired.
More sleepless nights for you. Well, all night it could be. You never know when he can get up. Live in that fear now.
Oh, so some kind of. So I'm blasting through updates today, but there's just a lot of interesting things since we last talked. So I won a couple games of chess.
Oh yeah,
which is like,
really?
Yeah,
that's good.
Which is wild because I was getting just like hammered. Anything against a computer, against human components, couldn't win a game to save my life. Watched a few strategy videos, and won a couple games. And one I was particularly proud about because it was actually against my chess computer that I bought, a physical one.
Oh,
So I'm going to show you the
okay.
board first, and then I'm going to show you the logo because the
Right.
logo is going to send everybody back. So this is a visual. This is a, if you see the video of this podcast, what I'm holding up is like a Nintendo DS XL, the large
Yeah,
one.
that's about the size of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just got a whole bunch of little pegs. It's got 90s style buttons and a tiny LCD. But
Knob
this
button.
picked it up $30 used, and it was just something about the physical. There's something about actually playing chess with physical pieces and kind of training your eye that way, as opposed to seeing just apps
Right.
that I liked.
Yep.
So that I really enjoyed. Picked it up, but this thing just beat me to the ground. Not even close. Couldn't beat it a single time. But I finally got it. It was great. So
That's good.
that was an achievement. Moving on up in the world. So great and fantastic. But the real thing with it is I'm going to show you a logo, and you
Okay.
read it aloud,
Right.
and you tell me what that conjures up. Hold on. That's
Wow. It's Tiger. Oh, there's a blast from the past.
tight. Like
That's
the
like
logo
every
that
single game I owned. That was
the
portable
R
form.
has that long
it's like a
tail.
tiger tail. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, man, I couldn't. These things, those were just the worst goddamn games. And I remember being infatuated with them. My
All the
brother
time.
had some. I had I think we had 4 or 6 of them. Like, how many
Yep.
did you have? Those things.
I had about close to 10. Just little things. I remember a
Jeez.
football one. It was like a little, almost a football stadium, like a physical football stadium out of plastic, and then a little tiny screen in the middle. And it had like 3 frames of animation, and you go left or right or center to catch the ball, and that was the thing. And you're like, man, I sat down in the basement, probably in the dark, playing the thing. Well, maybe not in the dark because it didn't have a backlight, but yeah, maybe with a
Definitely not the
flashlight or
dark.
something. And the little sounds it would make. Everybody knows.
Like,
those
how did they
sounds,
get? Like, Nintendo was around. Like, Atari was around.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
wild
yeah.
that they got away with it. Like, they were
Yeah.
so bad. And
I
yet-
don't know why.
Well, okay. The problem with me saying that is, so in retrospect, okay, bad games. I get it. However, at the time, somehow, was it because we had less expectations? Was it because were we innocent?
The bar was set so low that we just kind of dealt with it. It's either this or a sock with a tennis ball in it. You better just take your choice. What do you want to play with?
Like a math book. Jeez. So looking at it quick, like, I swear, like, there was Game Boy at the time too.
Yeah, there was.
Must
I
have
remember
been,
having
right?
the Game Boy as well. Oh man, is that the Ninja? No, Double Dragon. Yes,
Double Dragon one.
Had
Remember
Double
that
Dragon.
one?
There was
Sonic
a Ninja Turtles
3.
one.
So they even had like a Sonic one from Sega. So that was like, so it's branded. We're looking at one here. Football. Is that? There's a
Yeah,
football one.
there's one of football.
Skeet Shoot. Lion King.
Wow.
Michael Jordan basketball. It's just Ninja Gaiden. Okay, this one was Ninja Raiden. That one we had, and that was just an absolute beast. That was
Yeah.
the one. God, that one was hard.
That's
Because
crazy.
any dad here, like, just go and do a search for Tiger handheld gaming and look
Street
at the
Fighter,
images,
yeah.
and it is just an absolute trip back in time because we use these things so much.
It's funny
And, like,
how they're
there's-
all like set up the same way and just like a different print of whatever the game is. Oh, Batman! I had that one.
Did you have the Batman one?
I had the Batman one. It was hard. They're all kind of
They're all-
hard.
They're all hard.
I don't think you could ever beat them. I don't know. Isn't it
And
like
just-
a infinite runner sort of thing?
Yeah, there's often, like, there's never ending. It was just about getting the highest
Just
score.
high score, yeah. And then if the
remember for
batteries
some of them
die.
there was you could get there would even be boss battles, like Ninja Gaiden, for instance. Like, in
Oh
a
yeah,
sense
okay.
that, like, you'd be going around and you have to beat a guy a certain way, but then eventually you could, like a particularly larger sprite would show up, and there's just a certain other way to attack them. So it's kind of a classic game loop in that way.
It's interesting because, like you said, like with a high score before the batteries need to be replaced, and then you start all over again. You're like, oh, come on.
Jeez.
Yeah, classic, man. These are, I wonder, it's amazing that these people have them all up for sale and they're not really yellowing yet. They're still the white. It's almost
Pretty
like they
pristine, yeah.
haven't
It's
been
simple.
played.
It's simple enough. You have to imagine that they probably still work. There's nothing to them.
Paperboy.
Yeah. Oh no, baseball.
Yep, I had the baseball.
I'll say this, like it's certainly ambitious, right?
Yeah, some of them, right? I don't know. Now they're
But
on
they're
the
not
end caps at Toys R Us. Like a little part of this still exists. My kids have picked it up.
really.
Yeah, they have like little
LCD
Pac-Mans
games like
and
this.
stuff. Yeah, not quite so much plastic. But
Is it
yeah.
more like a full game, or is it as bad as
Oh,
far
it's
as
pretty
the?
as bad. Like it's probably a little bit more of a screen to it, but it's kind of the same thing. Cheap too. So
God, man. But anyways, that's what my chess set is from, and yeah, like super stoked because I actually won a game, but like seeing that logo every time I open that thing is just that wild trip.
yeah, for sure.
And compare that to your phone now, which has Fortnite, has full scale RPGs, can play even N64 games, emulates fairly seamlessly.
Yeah, that's kind of a trip down. Well, trip down memory lane. And kind of speaking of which, Disney Plus has allowed me to relive my childhood with movies
Oh man,
with
Yeah,
my
that's
kids.
awesome.
So every childhood movie that you watched, my kids are now into because it's something new that they haven't seen, which is awesome for me and new for them. So everybody wins. So
what have you been watching? Like which ones have they been getting into?
well, actually, tonight we just watched Homeward Bound. Do you remember that one?
Homeward Bound. Yeah, God, that's so sad. I remember the one scene, man. It's terrible for a kid. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it
I
turns
know.
out fine, but
Turns
you don't know
out,
that.
yeah, they were really worried about the old dog and getting hurt and possibly dying. But no, everything worked out. They loved the voices and how, like, none of the animals are animated mouths. It was just like a narration. But we watched that one.
Yeah.
Flight of the Navigator was a really old one. I don't know if people remember that one. I want to watch Short Circuit, but I was reading reviews on it. I'm like, it doesn't really hold up to today's standards. But we hit a lot of the other Disney Plus stuff just because they got that for Christmas from Grandma, and like Hercules, Lion King again, the original Aladdin, and then the new Aladdin. So all these kind of cool things that I loved as a kid, now they're experiencing, and so it's just me reliving my old years with them. So it's great.
Have you run into any problematic ones? Because, for instance, like one thing I saw, a thread I picked up on was Peter Pan, and specifically
Didn't watch
how.
that one. Yeah.
Okay, well, just how they depict natives
Yes.
in that movie is fairly problematic.
Yes. So that's the problem that was with Short Circuit, because Short Circuit has a very racist portrayal of an Indian that is not an Indian person
Oh,
who
boy.
plays that role.
Why would they need one in Short Circuit?
Don't know.
So let's
but
throw some of this racism in for fun.
it's the stereotype of that he built it, right? Like he built this robot and he knows all the techie stuff because that's his background as a race. Anyway, it didn't hold up. It didn't really pass
My
today.
goodness.
So yeah, you do have to be careful with kind of that, some of that stuff. And some of the old Disney cartoons does have a warning actually in the description now. Just certain things that might not be the correct portrayal of certain elements.
That's like,
so.
yeah, there's obviously the troublesome scene in Dumbo and the crows and what they represent. And it's interesting the tack they took where they put it up as recorded, like this is the movie,
Yeah.
and it's problematic.
Yeah.
This isn't good how this is done, but you can't really edit it out, and there's a certain
Yeah.
honesty in understanding how bad it is, the portrayal. But
Yeah, it's funny to hear from my kids too. Like even with Hercules, basically, if you've ever watched it, the cartoon version, Hercules sacrifices millions of lives to save his girlfriend. And you're like, why would he do this? And he goes through this whole thing of losing his powers just to save one girl. Never mind the whole city that gets wrecked because of it. But there's lots of bullying stuff and references that aren't great. So my kids were calling that out, which is good to see. And, I had that little chat with them. But yeah, no, I get to relive some old stuff with them and, be mindful of that as well.
So what else do you have on tap? Like, which ones are you looking forward to that you want to kind of get them to?
They want Homeward Bound 2.
Okay. Fine selection of Homeward Bound movies.
Yeah.
Thanks, Disney Plus.
Homeward Bound 2. They do want to watch Hook. So I think Hook is
Oh,
another one
okay.
that's kind of iffy on some things. I'll have to review it just to see. But Homeward Bound 2 and Hook are on tap. They want us; those are saved to watch. So we'll see.
Yeah, we resisted the pull of it at first, but eventually they wanted to watch Frozen. They wanted to watch Moana. They wanted to watch.
Yeah.
You know, which other one did we see the other day? Anyways, like they wanted to see a number of those, and eventually it's like, oh, here we go. And I think I had that same thing too, where I saw like all the movies from my childhood. Like, man, look at all these ones. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I watched. We had those the VHSs of all these guys.
Big plastic cases. Speaking of plastic, right, from all the video games,
that's
you had
right.
the huge VHS plastic cases to hold these suckers.
So this has been entirely an episode on big plastic, old
So much waste
technology.
for the world. So much waste.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's been curious to see like Disney Plus has actually really turned into a really good family service. Really,
Yeah, it's basically, when they locked it away in the vault, it's just now on their online service that you can access for a fee.
I remember that threat every time there was a movie.
I know.
Where it's just this could go away to the vault for
What a
another
horrible
20
thing.
We'll take it away.
And a vault, like the word is so final. Like, oh my God, it's going away forever.
But I love that movie. Please.
No, kid, it's going away.
Oh, that's wild. So, all right, well, keep us posted. See which other ones live through. But
sure.
just constant hearkening back to our childhood. And eventually, at some point, it's going to be you're sitting with your grandkids. It's like, what's this? Nathan Drake collection. oh, gather around the fireplace, you young ones. Let me spin you a tale.
That's right. Yeah.
So if that would happen in the future, that was an unplanned segue, but I'm super happy with that one. When that would happen in the future, we'll probably be on the PS20. But as of now, I'm a little shocked with how much it seems like PS5 is solidifying. Because I suppose it's just rumor mill, but I heard like PS5 could be relaunched as of February.
That would be crazy. Just like dropped out of nowhere.
Like I understand, like so it's definitely 2020, like that much I heard. Let me try to search up try to Google something.
Oh yeah, definitely it's for holidays. I think they've already announced that with one of the games.
Okay. So December 2020, has officially confirmed that the PS5 release in time for holiday 2020. Well, okay, that's like that wouldn't necessarily remove the idea that it could be February.
No, but that would be I don't know, an out of month launch. Usually consoles launch November-ish, right? Can't remember when the PS4 launched.
Maybe it's like, so maybe when I'm hearing February, it's more, is it going to be arrive in November or December 2020? Okay,
Maybe
so I'm seeing a bunch of people
announcement?
confirming, maybe the announcement is coming and like they're going to announce it in February to get hype going.
That makes sense.
Because I suppose they haven't really...
Gives me time to save, Trevor. I mean, come on. Give us dads a chance. We need 8 months, a good solid 8 months. Save up the diaper money so we can get in PS5.
Okay. Yeah, so PS5 launch date, I'm looking at an article, and why the internet thinks it could be revealed at this venue and why it's probably wrong.
Yeah, so there was a big show scheduled for February in the Taipei show or something. It was just recently canceled because of the coronavirus outbreak.
Oh, I see.
Which can wreak havoc on some of these production systems. I know Apple's already said they're having issues, so maybe it's not December 2020 or limited supply.
Yeah, see, so it's settled on, so this show, Sony had booked like a super private event for February 29th. So it could be the reveal, like here's what the thing actually looks like. We don't know what it, appears like, for instance. So definitely not released for that, but it's becoming real.
Yeah.
Right. And it's, it puts us, not a difficult situation, but a situation. Like, would we pony up for it? It comes out. I don't care much more for like it's so much more powerful, whatever. I think the only thing that really would interest me is if the VR is integrated, if it's inside of it, not some like external box, and it's more powerful. Like where are you sitting right now with the PS5 and your household?
So, PS5 would have to really sell me on backwards compatibility. I imagine that's in the box right now. But if I bought that and I could play against my son on the PS4 with a transitional game, like a cross-gen game, like say Fortnite, let's say. I know that Fortnite has couch co-op now, but if I could buy a PS5, have that upstairs, and plant this PS4 downstairs and still play with them, that is a good selling feature for me at this time. But as a Canadian, for PS5 launch price, we're talking almost $650. Probably, if that's $499 US. That's what most of the industry I think is hinting at, is at $499, especially with the Pro being still, I think, $399, $449 up here at least. So I don't know. I'm on the fence. If they announce it now, at least I have some sort of time frame on what I need to save, and if DualShock 4 controllers are compatible, that's a big plus, because I'm not buying PS5 controllers. I've already got 4 PS4 controllers, and those are not cheap. So I know every system, it's again the same thing, right? You have to get the new hardware and accessories, and VR would be a big push. I think there's rumor that would happen probably next year of wireless too. I think they were talking wireless. So I don't know.
That'd be so nice. Yes, it's difficult, like interesting, like as far as like what is there enough features to really warrant it. I think if the VR piece is in, it makes a lot of sense, because that's probably it's the thing I enjoy the most with the system now. Like it really represents the best way I can play games. Like the most enjoyable experience I have in gaming, because it's unique, it's technologically advanced, it's like fun, it's fantastic, it's quick. So, the looking at this one design where it's like the horseshoe design.
Oh my god, it looks like a router. It's like my old router. Wild. That's all it was. Just the antennas on top.
It's like the 80s and 2000s had a baby. It's just like...
yeah. You know what I want from this box, too? I want more than one suspended video game. I know you can suspend one video game, and the memory of the PS4 can only handle it, but I need 2, because my kids are on and off. I need 2 games suspended, please. Sony, I know you're listening.
Yeah, I bet. Lots of listeners from Sony. Better load times would be great. I do notice like it's enough loading every single time of getting into a game where it's like, okay, splash screen, okay, button, okay. It's just like come on, let's hop in, let's go.
You remember they said that for the PS4 too, right? Like just pick up, go, play, the hardware's there. But games just take advantage of the next gen hardware again. So how is it going to push faster loads, even on a solid state drive? I think they're talking. I'm like, how does it load faster if it's loading 8K textures now or whatever? Like I don't know how they're gonna pull that off. It would be cool.
Yeah, no.
I would love it. Or if it was like God of War, where it kind of like there's no load screens and there's more of that game design.
But that seems like it's more on the studios as opposed to anything else.
Oh,
as far as like
for sure.
The smart loading, and that's really still there's loading, but they're just sneaky,
hidden.
But how they make good use of the loading to tell stories in between.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's a bit of a wait and see, because if the first round of it doesn't support the current controllers, doesn't have much in the way of VR, there's going to be, you can't really play with other PS4s. Like it's not going to be cross platform, but like system compatible.
Can't talk to each
so
other.
You can't play with you can't play with like buddies on PS4. It starts to be a bit of an expensive island to bring into your house.
Yes, it does. Well, what's interesting is the Switch is not going to launch a next console this year. Well, at least that's what they've told their shareholders. So that's interesting. So maybe people are waiting out for a Switch Pro, not going to see it, and they might jump on the PS5 as like their next little money break.
I don't really get that argument, honestly. Like I appreciate it, but just from your household or mine or most folks, it's just like, well, I would have bought a PlayStation. I would have got a Switch Pro, but instead I'm just going to buy a PlayStation 5. Like those camps are so vastly apart. Same thing with Xbox. It's like if Xbox came out like 4 months earlier, well, I was going to get a PlayStation, but this one's available now, so I'm going to get it. Like that always didn't hold much water for me.
Yeah, well, we'll see with the games it delivers as well, because Cyberpunk being pushed, do you get it for PS4? Do you just wait, knowing that it'll probably be PS5? Last of Us 2. Do you wait?
What's all about Fortnite? How well does it play Fortnite? That's really what this is. This is
That's
a
right.
system to play.
That's a
this
lot.
is a system to play Fortnite.
That Minecraft, we're good.
Exactly. Maybe some Apex Legend, but mostly
That's
Fortnite.
right. Exactly.
Okay. And while we go, we got to save some money for the new systems, so we better cut off this air. Airtime's expensive.
That's right.
As you know. For
Bandwidth.
these podcasting. But that'll wrap it up for this week. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to get a hold of us, you can actually find us on, we've switched platforms recently to Anchor, and that lets you leave us messages. If you have an idea, if you want your voice or your concept idea, feedback, if you had a favorite Tiger game you want to discuss, if you have a chess tip for me, if you have a thought on PS5, we'd love to hear from you. We'd like to start featuring people on the show as well. So if you find us on Anchor, we'll put it into the show notes. But yeah, feel free to leave us a message. We'd love to hear from dads and get some notes into the show. Otherwise, if you want to, thank you so much for listening. If you want to subscribe to the podcast, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, anywhere else you get your podcasts. We'd really appreciate a like, a rating, and a pass along to any other dad who games. And until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 2-year-old ninja who won't stay in his crib, and a 4-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old, and we'll watch Homer Bound 2.
Yeah, of course. Don't cry. Don't cry.
Don't cry.
See you next week.
See ya.